me see if there's any questions here. Enough. Oh, how can I show compassion to people that treat me with arrogance and hostility? Tips. Okay. Well, the first thing, okay, is to journal and to look at why am I creating and attracting people to do that? What is it about them that I'm allowing into my life? Why have I attracted and allowed them to treat me this way? To take responsibility for it. Not to say, well, I'm a victim of these people. What do I do? But to have enough compassion to look at, why am I creating this? What does this make me feel? And what is this an expression and reflection of my beliefs? Is there beliefs in me that I don't deserve better? Or what type of people do that? Is it just men? Is it women? Is it coworkers? Is it authority figures? To really take it as a lesson to learn from. Because if I'm attracting this over and over again and it's causing me pain, I need to realize I create my own reality. Why do I keep attracting and allowing this into my life? And I need to journal about that and think about that. That would be the first step. And then to process through the feelings. How does this make me feel? I feel belittled. I feel disrespected. I feel like I don't matter. Okay, let me go through those feelings. What part of me is feeling that way? Is it my adolescent? Is my teenager? Is it, what is going on? Where am I, and if you said it's authority figures, supervisor, I can't change that. Yeah, what do you mean you can't change that? You can change your relationship to them. And this is how it works, just so you understand. I've talked about this before. We are all connected. And you create your reality, and that's the way they are. But you can change how they respond to you. You are powerful. And you see, there is you and your energy field. And there's them and there's their energy field. And when you interact, when you over-relate, you project onto them the way they're going to be. I can't believe they're going to be this way. And they listen and they read the script and they act that way. And the key here is have humility that they can be different. But I need to let loose of my fear. I need to own my value and worth. I need to stand in my power and strength. And I need to know that I'm going to forgive them for how they've treated me. But I've got to process through the emotions. If I'm hurt and disappointed, I need to process through my anger. If I'm angry at them, because if I'm angry at them, I'm bringing anger in, and every time I see them, it triggers the anger, it comes up, and it connects us. And guess what? They get angry at me, and they get hostile, and they get demeaning, and they get... So I want to take that power back. I want to clear out my energy field. I'm going to take responsibility, and I'm going to see the child in them and be willing to let it be different, LK. Be willing. I know it's hard, and it's challenging to the ego to do that, but you can do it. To let it be brand new. Next time I see them, but I can't just go in there and say, okay, I'm just going to go in there and try to see them differently. I need to process part of the energy that they trigger in me. And I need to recognize, acknowledge, forgive them. And maybe even talk to them in your mind. As you're going to bed, connect with and see them and talk to them. Ask your higher self to connect to their higher self and say, I don't like being treated this way and I'm not going to allow it anymore. I want you to treat me with greater respect, with greater warmth, with greater dignity, whatever. Talk to them in your mind. That connects to their higher consciousness, not their ego. You're trying to deal with their ego, but their higher consciousness can download and shift their ego. But go to the source. So those are the ways I would deal with it if that were in my reality. I hope that makes some sense. So yeah, first of all, you got to... How does this make me feel? Why have I allowed this? What is it about authority figures? Does this reflect, is this something that my dad used to do? Or is this something my mother used to do? Or my teachers? Or my people that were in authority in my life? And is it something that makes me feel less than? And do I believe I'm somehow less than? And I need to change that belief to say, no, I deserve to be treated better, and I matter, and I'm valuable. And I'm going to stand in my power and strength. And I'm going to forgive them and take my power back. And let that be brand new. Let it be different. Don't project. And you can see a change in them. It's like magic. Tia, thanks for the question, okay, and Michaiel for this explanation. Need a workshop about this or something? Yeah, there's so much I have to share and teach. And it's fun. It's fun to see people blossom and release the fragrance of their beauty into the world because the world needs it so desperately. And being compassionate. Compassion is a crisis in the world, and as you open up, choosing to be more compassionate, you're going to allow for there to be more compassion in the world. And that spiritual force of compassion, like forgiveness, that spiritual force creates magic and miracles. can allow for magic and miracles. If you can withdraw your judgments from what's going on between Russia and Ukraine and understand the power struggle of the ego that wants to take and dominate and be king of the mountain and be superior, all the things that Putin represents, but come from a level of compassion and understanding and sending healing energy rather than trying to fight and dominate him, conquer. That map has been made for decades, for eons of time, and it's crumbling. It's not working anymore. And our world is becoming new and changing. And as you can open up to compassion, letting go of your own judgments, you can create a space for healing that can take place within that man, these men, and healing can be miraculous. I encourage you to do that. Yeah, the old paradigm, exactly, Anon. Setting a foundation of being empowered. And if you look at all of the courses, all the classes that I teach, at the core, it's about restoring your power. The power of your being, the power of your presence, the power of your spirituality. Because that is your key. That is your solution to living your life and creating your dreams and manifesting what you want. So I've always talked about power. And everyone has it. You have power. Everyone has it. You either use it or you give it away to others. You deny it. But you can't not have it. You have a connection to your power. And so thank you all. And I look forward to seeing some of you in my next class, which I think is next Wednesday. What speaks louder than any words is your presence, your being, your energy field, your attitude, your beliefs, and your thoughts and your feelings. They are part of what make up that resonance. And today, becoming a conduit of compassion is about turning up your inner light. It's about allowing the radiance of your being, the radiance of your spirit, to shine its light through compassion, because it needs a doorway in order to not only be present, but to shine its light and to connect with others. So being compassionate is opening up to a deeper dimension of caring that can elevate and expand your spiritual growth. It can deepen and heal parts of yourself that have been locked up in judgment. And it can allow you the grace of your being, of your spiritual being, and to also receive the gifts of spirit through compassion. So it's a powerful resource, and I'm excited to hear what I'm going to talk about. I'm excited to hear what I'm going to be saying about it. But I feel like it's something that has been a big priority for myself personally in my own life, because I came from a very judgmental family, especially my father, and my father particularly. He's a good man, and that's the way he dealt with life. And he was in 2 wars, the Korean War and World War II, and he fought. And actually, I want to share a story with you all, because this allowed me to have a deeper level of compassion for my dad. And this was not that long ago. It was maybe 7, 8, 9 years ago. He had come out here to California with his wife, and he taught me how to shoot pool, and I like to shoot pool. I like billiards. So that evening after we were out, tourist sightseeing and showing him all around San Francisco, his wife was tired and said I wanted to go to bed early, and so my dad and I walked down to a pub in my neighborhood to shoot pool. And we were talking, and I was just listening to my dad, and the last time he was in San Francisco was when he was 19 years old on a warship going out to sea. So he went under the Golden Gate Bridge when he was 19 years old. So when I took him that day to Land's End, where you can see the Golden Gate Bridge, my dad got tears in his eyes. And it was just so like, wow, this is so meaningful to him. And we went down to the shoot pool. And while we're shooting pool, we were just making small talk, talking about different things. And he said something about this. He said it's so strange because one of his war buddies that he was friends with in the war popped into his mind, his full name. Like he hadn't thought of him in 50 years, right? And he mentioned the guy's name, and I don't remember what it was. Let's say it was, Sam Johnson or something. And he just stopped. We were shooting pool, and my dad stopped, and he had like this download of a memory that he had, I think, purposefully corded off, meaning he put it away because it was so painful. And he said to me, he goes, God, I haven't thought of Sam, whatever, Johnson. And he goes, I go, well, what happened? How you were friends? He goes, yeah, we were friends in the war. He goes, and he got shot and killed. And I was like, oh my God. To have a good friend in the war and then to know. And I assumed that, he heard about him getting shot and killed. And I said, you're kidding. I said, oh my God, that's horrible. My dad goes, yeah, we were out in the water on a boat. And I'm like, what? We're out on the water in the boat. And he was in the front of the boat. And I was in the back. And he got shot and fell into the water. I'm like, oh my God. It opened my heart to a level of caring and compassion with my dad, because what he did at that point, I believe, is he had to shut his heart down to try to cope, and he became very critical and very judgmental. But in that moment, I learned and understood something that opened my heart to a deeper level of understanding with my dad, and it put so much of the jigsaw puzzle pieces together that post-traumatic stress of being 19 years old, a kid, and witnessing your friend dying in front of your eyes, and that pain of that, it just really opened my heart. And anyways, I just wanted to share that with you because it changed my relationship with my dad in that instant. And it opened my heart to a level of compassion, not only for my dad, but for that gentleman. And that's some of that magic of compassion. It can deepen and connect on so many levels. So anyways, it was a wonderful evening that night, and beyond all that, but that my dad would have this memory surface that he had obviously buried, because that was the only way he could cope with that memory. And I think that coming up and out. And also, I think too, just one thing I want to mention here is that because of who I am and my own energy and presence and being connected and spending time with my dad that day, that he felt safe enough, and his subconscious mind felt safe enough to allow this memory to bubble up so that it could be expressed and released and healed instead of repressed, denied, and ignored. And so I think it was a part of his own spiritual healing that took place that day. Anyways, that's just a little quick story about compassion that I wasn't even planning on talking about, but it just kind of popped into my mind when I was sharing. And being compassionate is something that you can develop. Anyone can care. Caring is an act of paying attention to the needs of someone or something. First step, paying attention, noticing, and then giving in such a way as to make that thing, that person, that plant, that animal, to give in such a way as to make them feel more secure, greater pleasure, and to allow them to grow and become more, to evolve. That's an act of caring. 2 steps, paying attention and then giving, in order to make them safe, secure, giving them pleasure, and or allowing them to continue to grow and evolve. Because it doesn't have to be safety and pleasure, it can be just to make them safe. That's an act of caring. Keeping your child from running out in the street, they may want to run out in the street and they're not getting any pleasure from you keeping them from doing it, but you are creating safety in order to keep them and help them to continue to grow and evolve and become more, to protect them. So that's an act of caring. And all of us are capable of caring. But compassion is an evolved state of caring. It is an evolved state because the ego can learn to care. That's your ego, can learn to care and be caring. And it's the first stage of love, is to care, because you really can't love someone or something unless you care enough to want to. So caring is necessary for love to grow, and it's the foundation of love. And our ego can become caring. It can pay attention and give in such a way. But compassion is a level of caring that's born within your spirit. And it is the spirit within you that knows and understands the pain of life, that knows and understands the sorrow. And it's because I know and understand pain and sorrow, there's a deeper level of spirit that is connected to that act of caring that is compassion. So compassion is rare, unfortunately, in our world. It is a masculine energy. And the twist of chauvinism that has redefined the masculine energy to fit a certain agenda of control and domination and elevation and superiority. That agenda has twisted the true masculine energy. Because some of the elements of what masculine, the genuine masculine energy that has been twisted and distorted and repressed and denied by chauvinism, some of those energies are joy. Joy is a dynamic masculine energy. To be in the zone, to be in that space where you're in that creative zone is part of your spirit coming alive. And in that spirituality, your spirit is the true masculine energies, to be so focused and in the zone when you're painting or drawing or playing an instrument or doing sports, and you're in that. That's a part of being and connected to your spirit. It is compassion that is so rare in our world. And it is also being loved, being willing to be loved by life, being loving, yes, and being loved. And that act of giving love and receiving love and being loved is a very beautiful form of masculine energy. It's very active and engaged. To let yourself know that you're enough. Your spirit knows it's good enough. Your spirit thrives in the joy of living life and knows it's enough. Not perfect, not better than, not superior to, but enough. I am secure enough. I'm creative enough. I'm productive enough. I'm connected enough. I belong enough. I love enough. I express myself enough. I communicate good enough. I am enough. That comes from spirit. And in a world that has denied soul and spirit, and the ego that truly doesn't feel it's good enough because it's not. Your ego's not good enough because it needs your soul and spirit. You need a connection with the divine. And so being a conduit of compassion can lift you to a higher octave, to co-create and to be a channel of healing in the world. It can bring a light of connection because it is a form of caring that connects more deeply than just an act of caring. It connects on a soul level. When you are compassionate, you have elevated and stepped beyond any judgment, because judgments shut it down. I'll talk about that in a minute. But it is a level of understanding, of being connected, of understanding the oneness of all of us connected together. So that is what compassion in a nutshell is. It's a very unique form of caring. It is the synergy. Meaning the components that come together to make something greater. It is a synergy of caring. You need to care enough to have that foundation of being a caring person in order to lift to compassion. It's not opposite of compassion or caring. It's a part of it. It's an expansion beyond it. So it is a synergy of caring. It is a synergy of honoring. Honoring what? Difference. It is a synergy of opening, of being open, without prejudgments, without preconceptions, without projecting someone. It's about being open and present. And when you're open and present, and when you have a level of caring, and when you have a level of wanting to be understanding and to be honoring, to honor uniqueness, to honor difference, you create a synergy where compassion can open and be born. There's a saying, and it's about to truly love and to care for somebody, a caring, compassionate person, and to open up to a level of vulnerability, that comes from within you, a vulnerability of having known pain. A person who has known pain and understands its devastation, understands its depth, and understand its purpose. When you have experienced pain, that cracks and opens your heart, the pain of a broken heart. When that broken heart is broken, it's to let the light of spirit through. It's to let the light of your spirit to shine. And a broken heart is necessary It's part of the path of being human. It's part of the path of understanding life. And it's a part of your journey of becoming whole, is to let yourself, and it doesn't mean you go out there and have to have a broken heart all the time. No, you just need to have it once, to open up and to be able to let the light of your spirit shine. And all of you have had your heart broken and cracked so that you can let the light of compassion through. Children can care. Children can be caring. They can care for their friends. They can care. But they don't feel compassion. Until you go through adolescence, until you go through pain, until you have a wounding, your soul's wounding, that the wind gets knocked out of you, and you realize you're not invincible as the little child thinks it is. The adolescent gets the wind knocked out of them, and reality sets in, and they feel vulnerable, sometimes powerless, and they have opened up and cracked something within their consciousness that allows the light of their soul and spirit to shine through.